You always exchanged words with everybody because it didn't matter what anybody was doing in and around the estate here.
When Meghan Markle and Prince Harry stepped away from royal duties, the moment did not end with their departure. It lingered. It echoed through the corridors of the monarchy, through conversations that were never made public, through decisions that unfolded quietly behind palace walls. From the outside, the story appeared dramatic. A break from tradition, a shift in direction. But within the institution, the reality was far more complex. Because the monarchy is not designed for sudden change, it is built on continuity. And when something disrupts that continuity, even slightly, it creates ripples. Ripples that are felt not only in public perception, but within the structure itself. Among those who witnessed and adapted to this moment was Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, a figure often described as one of the monarchy's most steady and dependable voices. And according to some royal commentators, she may have offered a perspective quiet, measured, yet deeply insightful, that has since been described as a bombshell. The moment that changed the modern monarchy. When Prince Harry and Meghan Markle announced their decision to step back from royal duties in early 2020, the moment didn't unfold quietly. It unfolded all at once, a statement released to the public, a wave of global headlines, an immediate reaction that stretched far beyond the United Kingdom. For many observers, it felt unprecedented, because while the monarchy has experienced moments of change before, this one carried a different tone. It was not simply a shift in responsibility, it was a redefinition of what royal life could look like. The couple expressed a desire to create a new path, one that would allow them to maintain certain royal connections, while also pursuing independence. But the structure of the monarchy, built over centuries, is not easily reshaped. Its framework is designed around clearly defined roles, around duty, around continuity. And within that framework, the idea of stepping partially outside the system presented challenges. Challenges that required careful negotiation, careful response, and ultimately, a clear outcome. Within months, the arrangement evolved into a full departure from official royal duties, a decision that would reshape not only the couple's future, but the monarchy's present. Because when two high-profile members step away, the impact is not isolated. It spreads, it changes expectations, it shifts public attention, and it forces the institution to adapt. The institution responds quietly. While the public conversation surrounding the departure was immediate and highly visible, the monarchy's response followed a very different rhythm. There were no dramatic press conferences, no emotional public statements. Instead, the response was measured, structured, and largely unseen. Behind the scenes, discussions took place. Roles were reassessed, responsibilities were redistributed. Because within the monarchy, every public duty is part of a larger system, and when one part of that system changes, the rest must adjust to maintain balance. Senior figures, including King Charles III, then still Prince of Wales, and Prince William, began to take on increased visibility. Engagements that would have once been shared became more concentrated. Public appearances were recalibrated, not in a way that drew attention to the change, but in a way that ensured continuity. This is one of the defining characteristics of the monarchy. It does not react in ways that amplify disruption. It absorbs it, adapts to it, and moves forward, often without explanation, because stability, above all else, is its priority. Sophie's role during a time of change. During this period of adjustment, Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, emerged as an increasingly important figure within the royal framework, not through dramatic gestures, not through high-profile statements, but through something far more consistent: reliability. Sophie has long been regarded as one of the monarchy's most steady working royals. Her approach is defined by professionalism, by discretion, by a commitment to duty that does not seek attention. And in times of change, those qualities become especially valuable, because when public narratives are shifting, when headlines are focused on uncertainty, the institution relies on figures who can provide stability. Sophie's engagements continued without interruption. Her presence remained constant, and her role quietly expanded. She represented the monarchy in ways that reinforced continuity, in ways that signaled that, despite external changes, the institution remained intact. This kind of influence is not always visible, but it is essential, because it helps maintain the balance between public perception and internal reality. Understanding the bombshell narrative. The word bombshell suggests something sudden, something dramatic, something that changes everything in an instant. But within the context of the monarchy, that kind of moment rarely exists in the way people imagine, because the royal world operates differently. It values restraint, careful language, measured communication. If Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, ever offered a perspective that has been described as a bombshell, it likely did not come in the form of a dramatic revelation. Instead, it may have been subtle, a carefully phrased observation, a comment that, on the surface, appeared simple, but carried deeper meaning. when considered in context. This is how influence often works within the monarchy, not through loud declarations, but through quiet insight, because those who understand the institution best rarely need to say much. Their words carry weight precisely because they are measured, because they are rare, and because they reflect experience. So what some may interpret as a bombshell may, in reality, be something else entirely. A glimpse, a small window into how the monarchy views itself, and how it continues to navigate moments of change. What an insider perspective really reveals. When someone like Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, is said to have offered insight into a major royal moment, it's important to understand what that actually means. Because within the monarchy, perspectives are rarely personal in the way the public imagines. They are shaped by experience, by years, sometimes decades, of living inside a system that operates very differently from ordinary life. For Sophie, that experience has been built quietly. She has seen how the monarchy handles pressure, how it responds to public scrutiny, how it adapts when circumstances change, and perhaps most importantly, how it preserves itself. So, if she has ever reflected on the departure of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, her perspective would likely not focus on personalities. It would focus on principles, on duty, on responsibility, on the balance between personal choice and institutional expectation. Because within the monarchy, those ideas are not optional, they are foundational. They shape every role, every decision, every public appearance. And moments like the royal exit bring those principles into sharper focus. They highlight the tension between individual paths and collective responsibility, a tension that has existed within royal history for generations. Public narrative versus private reality. One of the most compelling aspects of royal life is the contrast between what the public sees and what actually happens behind the scenes. The public narrative is built on visible moments, announcements, interviews, photographs. These moments create a story that feels complete. But in reality, they are only fragments, because behind every public moment lies a private process. A process of discussion, of negotiation, of careful consideration. When Meghan Markle and Prince Harry stepped away, the public saw the announcement. But what they did not see were the conversations that led up to it, the internal adjustments that followed, the decisions that had to be made quietly to maintain balance within the institution. This is where figures like Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, exist, within that private space. A space where the monarchy is not defined by headlines, but by structure. And if her perspective has ever been interpreted as revealing, it may simply be because it offers a rare glimpse into that hidden world. A world where decisions are not driven by emotion, but by continuity. The importance of stability within the monarchy. At its core, the monarchy is built on one principle above all others: stability. It is what allows the institution to endure across generations. Through political change, through social transformation, through moments of uncertainty. Stability is not achieved through dramatic action. It is achieved through consistency, through adherence to tradition, through individuals who remain steady even when circumstances shift. Figures like Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, embody that stability. Her role is not defined by headlines, but by presence, by reliability, by the ability to carry out duties without disruption. In contrast, moments like the departure of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle highlight how delicate that stability can be, because even a single change can ripple through the system. It can shift expectations, alter perceptions, and require careful adjustment. But the strength of the monarchy lies in its ability to absorb those changes, to adapt without appearing unstable, to continue without losing its sense of continuity. And it is through figures who prioritize duty over attention that this balance is maintained. The lasting impact of the exit, even years after the departure of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, its impact has not faded. It has simply changed form. What was once a single moment and announcement, a decision has evolved into something more complex, a continuing influence, not always visible but present. It can be seen in the way the monarchy now approaches public communication, more measured, more deliberate, carefully balancing transparency with tradition. It can also be seen in how roles within the royal family have been redefined. Responsibilities that were once shared are now redistributed. Engagements that once involved multiple figures are now handled by a more focused group. This has created a more streamlined structure, but also a more demanding one, because fewer individuals now carry greater visibility and greater expectation. Beyond structure, the impact is also cultural. The departure sparked global conversations about the role of monarchy in a modern world, about the balance between personal freedom and public duty, about how centuries-old institutions adapt to changing values, These conversations did not end when the couple stepped away. They continue, evolving alongside the monarchy itself. And in many ways, this ongoing dialogue has become part of the royal narrative, a reminder that the institution does not exist in isolation. It exists within a world that is constantly changing, a monarchy that continues to evolve. Under the leadership of King Charles III, the monarchy has entered a new phase, a phase defined not by sudden transformation, but by gradual evolution. Charles has long been associated with ideas of modernization. Even before ascending the throne, he spoke about the importance of adapting the monarchy to reflect contemporary society. Now, as king, that vision is beginning to take shape, not through dramatic reforms, but through subtle adjustments, a focus on a more streamlined royal family, a clearer definition of roles, a stronger emphasis on efficiency and relevance. At the same time, tradition remains central. Ceremonies continue, symbols are preserved, historic practices are maintained, because the strength of the monarchy lies in its ability to balance these two forces, change and continuity. Too much change risks losing identity. Too little risks becoming disconnected from the present. And navigating that balance is one of the monarchy's greatest challenges. It requires careful judgment, patience, and an understanding that evolution is a process, not a moment. The quiet power of perspective. In a world where headlines often focus on dramatic moments, it is easy to overlook something quieter. Perspective. Within the monarchy, perspective is shaped over time, through experience, through observation, through years of understanding how the institution truly functions. Figures like Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, represent that quiet perspective. They do not dominate headlines, they do not seek attention, but their influence exists nonetheless, in how they carry out their roles, in how they support the institution, in how they reflect its values. And when voices like hers are interpreted as offering insight, even something described as a bombshell, it reveals something important, not necessarily about the words themselves, but about the weight they carry. Because in the royal world, influence is not always loud, it is not always visible. Sometimes it exists in the background, shaping decisions, guiding direction, providing stability. And in the end, that quiet influence may be one of the most powerful forces within the monarchy.